Good afternoon. The Memphis and Shelby County Board of Adjustment is hereby called to order for its regularly scheduled meeting of June 24th, 2026. My name is Tim Rainey. I'm chairman of the board. Mr. Jeffrey Penzis serves as secretary of the board. Mr. Penzis, may I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Bruce.
Present.
Mr. Claybrook.
Here.
Ms. Conrad.
Here.
Mr. Love.
Here.
Ms. Skurlock.
Here.
And Chair Rainey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The Memphis and Shelby County Board of Adjustment is the oldest appointed governmental body in Memphis and Shelby County. We were established in 1925. The board hears appeals from the administration of the zoning ordinance, requests for variances from the zoning ordinance, and other requests as articulated by local zoning laws adopted pursuant to the enabling legislation. The 8 members of the board are appointed, 4 by the mayor of Memphis and 4 by the mayor of Shelby County, with confirmation by the Memphis City Council or Shelby County Board of Commissioners. We serve without remuneration. At this time, I'd like to swear in the staff. You may remain seated, but do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, thank you. May I get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Mr. Secretary, please provide a secretary's report, if there is one this month, and explain the procedure for today's meeting.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. As for the Secretary's report, there are no announcements this afternoon. The procedure for this meeting will be as follows. I will introduce each case as listed on the agenda. Copies of the agenda can be found on the front podium. For each case, the planner with the Division of Planning and Development will give a presentation. At the conclusion of the staff presentation, the applicant will have 5 minutes to present his or her case. After the applicant's presentation, those speakers in support will have a total of 5 minutes. Then those speakers in opposition will have a total of 10 minutes. And then finally, the applicant will have 2 minutes to provide rebuttal. These times do not include time for questions from and answers to members of the board. The chairman may provide additional time, provided both sides are given an equal amount of additional time. All parties who wish to provide testimony to the board will be sworn in by the chairman. If a member of today's audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a particular case on today's agenda, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card for the record. Speaker's cards are available at the front podium. Once filled out, speaker's cards can be submitted to any DPD staff member at the left podium. We do not need speaker's cards from the applicants since their names are already part of the record. After all parties have been heard, the board will close the public hearing, make a motion, and then deliberate on the case. If the applicant or any speaker would like to be heard after the conclusion of the public hearing, or if a board member wishes to hear additional testimony from any party, a 2/3 vote is required to reopen the public hearing pursuant to the board's rules of procedure. Please note that once the public hearing is reopened, both the applicant and the opposition will be allowed to provide additional testimony and/or rebuttal. All motions by this board will be made in the affirmative. The private acts governing the board require the affirmative vote of at least 5 members to approve an application, regardless of the number of board members present. The board may also vote to hold an application for a period not to exceed 3 months with the consent of the applicant, or 1 month without the consent of the applicant. All section numbers that we refer to come from the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, or the UDC, which was adopted by the Memphis City Council and Shelby County Board of Commissioners in August of 2010 and became effective on January 1st, 2011. I will introduce the entire UDC and make it part of today's record, thus dispensing with the reading of individual sections. The board is vested with the power to act on these cases before us today under the provisions of Chapter 9.22 of the UDC. Mr. Chairman, I submit that all cases have been filed in proper order, all applicants have been notified of this hearing, and all notice requirements have been fulfilled as required by the UDC.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. At this point, the board will establish a consent agenda. To establish the consent agenda, the Secretary will call out each eligible case. If any member of the audience, staff, or board objects to the case being placed on the consent agenda, he or she should do so by a show of hands when the Secretary reads that case. Once the consent agenda is established, the board will vote on all cases placed on the consent agenda as a whole, will not hold individual public hearings on those cases. Mr. Secretary, which items on our agenda are eligible to be placed on consent this week?
Item number 2, BOA 2026-34 at 9161 Wild Ridge Lane as approval with conditions. Item number 5, BOA 2026-38 at 832 South Greer Street as a hold for 1 month. Item number 6, BOA 2026-39 at 3251 Seminole Street as a hold for 1 month. And item number 8, BOA 2026-44 at 3220 East Shelby Drive as a hold for 1 month.
Okay. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as established by the secretary, which is going to be agenda item 1 as approval with conditions and 5, 6, and 8 as holds.
So moved.
Second.
All right. I'd like to remind the board that by voting on the consent agenda, he or she affirms that he or she has read the staff report, is in full agreement with the conditions. Mr. Secretary, may I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Mr. Claybrook,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Ms. Skurlock,
Yes.
and Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. So if you're here for 2, you've been approved, or 5, 6, and 8, you've been held as requested. Mr. Secretary, would that you call the first case that we're going to hear on the regular agenda this month?
Item number 1, BOA 2026-28 at 3852 Macon Road.
Okay, is the applicant for 3852 Macon present? Okay, if you'll go ahead and come down to the front row, and you can go ahead and you can have a seat. Is there any opposition to this case? There is opposition? Okay. Are they here, any separate opposition here?
Oh, you mean like somebody speaking against us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I thought you were saying like we were gonna state our case.
No, you're good, yeah.
My bad.
No. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna have staff, we're gonna have Ms. Avosi give a presentation, and then we'll have you come up and talk to us.
Good afternoon. I'm Truth with DPD, presenting BOA 2026-28. There are 3 requests: a variance to allow a driveway wider than 16 feet, a variance to allow a front yard parking pad, and a variance to allow a metal carport. Here's the location map. The property is zoned R6, which is residential single family 6, and RW, which is residential work. We sent out 195 notices. It is a single-family land use surrounded by predominantly single-family land uses with a few commercial uses. The picture to your left is the original when it was built, and the picture to your right is when the applicants made improvements to the driveway and then the front yard parking part. Here's a site plan for it. So to review the request individually, the first one is a variance to allow a driveway wider than 16 feet. This is associated with Code Enforcement Case 2026-160, and then a curb cut permit that was approved by City Engineering. However, per the applicant is saying City Engineering approved a 26 feet curb cut permit for him. However, per city records, they approved a width of 5 feet and a total length of 26 feet. And the UDC prohibits residential driveways to be more than 16 feet. And so the applicant is not in compliance, and based on the explanations given, there's no demonstrated hardship or practical difficulty. So staff is recommending a rejection for variance request 1. The second request is a variance to allow a front yard parking pad. It's also associated with Code Enforcement Case 2026-160. The applicant said his backyard flats, that's why he needed a front yard parking pad. But as I will show you in the images in my subsequent slides, the applicant already parks at the back, so his statement is inconsistent with the fact that he has enough space to park in his rear yard, so there's no need for him to have a front yard parking pad. So staff is also recommending a rejection for the variance to allow a front yard parking pad. So this is the applicant's yard, at the back. The third request is a variance to allow a metal carport. So we do allow accessory structures. However, we recommend that the material is the same as the main structure of the house. In this case, the metal carport is not the same material as the house, but staff finds that if we recommend approval for the metal carport, then the applicant has space in his rear yard to park and rather reject the front yard parking pass. So staff is recommending approval with conditions, and here are the conditions. So again, we are recommending rejection for 1 and 2 and approval for 3 with the following conditions. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions for staff? All right, thank you. If the applicant, you'll come forward now. And what I'll do is, if you can give your name and address for the record, then I'll swear you in and you can tell us about it.
Okay. My name is Jorge Garcia. I'm inquiring about 3852 Macon Road.
Is that your address?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Now, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and share with us.
Well, the hardships wise, I pretty much put in there what were the hardships with the property. I submitted photos, which I had not seen at all up there too, of the flooding in the backyard. I don't know if you can go back to the photos of the before. Yeah, that right there. Y'all see that ramp right there? Y'all see that ramp? And then that wooden thing that we built temporarily? That was for wheelchair access. So we had kids there, 3 kids in wheelchairs living there. School bus would drop them off, and that's what was there before. So when trying to do this process of widening the driveway, we were thinking about the kids. Also, I was trying to do everything by the book. I struggled to get anybody to give me any clear information about how to go about this driveway. I got super clear information on how to go about the curb cut. And the flooding conditions, I submitted photos of that. I don't know why they're not up there. We literally have to put gravel in the backyard to get rid of or sustain the flooding issues we're having back there. And I know these are not the prettiest pictures, but it looks totally different now, that's for sure. I don't know if I could put any material of my own up there.
Yeah, you can.
How do we go about that?
You have pictures?
Yeah, I got pictures. I'd also like to submit the list of numbers I called before this parking pad went down. And also pictures of the kids. And us having registered, what's it called? I forget what it's called, the accessibility tags for cars, how it's registered to that address, so it's not us making up stuff that the kids live there. There's actual kids that that need those accessibility needs. So, how do right there? that's in front of the house. There's more than,
So if I go those three.
yeah, registration, and that's us as a family.
You want me to just go through these?
Yeah,
Okay, will do.
and that list of phone numbers I was calling before.
How many cars or vehicles do y'all have at this house?
4 at the moment.
Okay. Because I'm overhead, I'm counting 9.
That was back.
Okay. Mhm.
Do you still have the ramp?
Not at the moment.
So are they going up the stairs now?
No, right now they're staying with their sister while we're getting some stuff repaired inside the house.
Sure. How big is the house?
It's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It's got quite a, not gonna say large laundry room, but
Sure.
it's an okay laundry room. It's got a dining room and then a living room and a small kitchen.
Okay.
Back they can't enter at all. It's super small.
Right.
And that's the kitchen area.
And so are all the passageways in the home accessible?
From living room to dining room, yes. Bathroom, their mom has to carry them into the bathroom.
And do they own any accessible vehicles now?
No, but there are 2 cars registered to accessible, the tags.
Great. Any other questions for the applicant?
You mentioned there was flooding in the backyard.
Yes, ma'am.
How does the metal building and the pavement, does that address the flooding? Is it gotten better with
The metal carport,
yeah.
that was just, sometimes we'd use that for vehicles we don't use at all, or like when the snowstorm came by, or, you got to protect your vehicles from hail. Or we used the wooden one for family events, the other one too, also for family events. And, yeah, I don't know if you have more questions for me.
That was just it. Just
Yeah,
how,
it doesn't
how
help the
you are
flooding, but it's
addressing
there just for not for personal reasoning. I'd also like to what's it called? Address on how I attempted a lot, or made a huge attempt on trying to get information before building that parking pad in the front, which nobody at any of those city phone numbers would help me out at all. Nobody was helped. And I got a call record too. I don't know if that would help out, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's fine, like, you're under oath
Yeah.
somewhat in telling us this, so.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
So the purpose of the parking pad in front is strictly so you don't have to park the vehicles on the yard?
Yes, and for
Okay.
easier access, with the original driveway, I don't know if you can go back to the original pictures. That blue car, that belongs to the mom of the kids. She would park on the driveway. Y'all can see how skinny that driveway is, and she would have to struggle with wheelchairs going through the grass. We put down gravel as a temporary thing back in the day. But she, pushing a wheelchair with skinny wheels through gravel, it's not an easy thing, and she has 3 kids in wheelchairs.
Right, but if you were to just pave where the gravel was, it would have been acceptable. It would have been 16 feet wide.
Yes,
So it's, what's beyond that that's causing,
which connects to the stairway.
right, which could be done with a sidewalk,
Yes.
versus a whole concrete pad.
We offered the fine folks upstairs a compromise of where we could cut out the areas that were deemed not, I don't know what to call it, but
Not in compliance.
yes, I wouldn't say illegal, but like not correct according to y'all's standard, but that we could compromise by still leaving the sidewalk that leads from driveway to the home and then from the street to the home, because the school bus would drop off the kids at the sidewalk. And they didn't give us any options to compromise. They just said, fill out the variance and we'll see from there. So I'd like to also state that.
I like that compromise.
As do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Staff, is that accurate?
I think he's referring to the inspectors. I think this is the first time we're hearing
Gotcha.
of it.
We said find people upstairs. That's got to be y'all.
So let me ask this. If we don't approve the variance as to the parking pad, do we have to approve anything for him to have, a 4 to 5 foot, 4-foot walkway to the street that's not a parking pad and a walkway in front of the house for wheelchair access, or is that just by right?
The walkways would be by right.
Right.
But are we talking about paving where that blue truck is, or no?
I think that we would say that he'd have to have a 16-foot driveway.
Okay, so, right, you can have up to 16 feet, but because that pavement doesn't go beyond the front facade of the house by 20 feet, even paving where that blue truck is would be a parking pad. So it sounds like y'all may be considering a reduced front yard parking pad.
Okay. I see what you're saying. But would we need to mention anything about a walkway that's disconnected to that from the door, to the street and then from in front of the house?
No, I mean, the walkway would be by right.
Okay.
So the curb cut is wide.
Yes, so the curb cut is too wide at the street. The maximum is supposed to be 16 feet.
And so if he had permission to do a 16-foot wide curb cut, it would still be a pad because it's in front of the house. Gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Get that in my head.
But what was his curb cut permit for? Was it for 16 feet or was it for 23 feet?
Per
26.
city engineering, I think it's traffic engineering who approves it, the way he filled it out and what they thought they were approving was a width of 5 feet and a length of 26 feet. I'm assuming maybe, I don't know how wide it is, maybe they thought he was just adding a small section onto it.
So what is city engineering? Do they have any recourse on this curb cut?
Well, it's really through the UDC for, the variance aspect. But I guess city engineering, in their, at least based on what they've explained to us, this is not what they approved.
Just to make sure I'm clear, so if we approve the variance, would that trump city engineering? Or would they come back?
I don't know.
this is the permit, and he
Okay.
has it approved by an inspector, but I guess per city engineer and the people who approved the permit are basically say the inspector improved this in error, because it was not what the permit was actually for.
I just want to make sure the permit was for the curb cut only, right, and not the parking pad.
That is also correct.
Okay.
Okay. So, question for staff, if we wanted to approve this, but with the, just approve a driveway up to 16 feet, I mean, I guess we just wouldn't approve. He can have a driveway up to 16 feet already, correct?
Well, it becomes a parking pad.
Oh,
Well, but if you, so I think I know where you're going.
please, okay, thank you.
Okay, so if you don't approve number one, and you approve number two, and then just define what the reduced area is, then he can have a 16-foot wide driveway
Okay.
by right.
So would the approval for number two, the condition being that the concrete width is no wider than 16 feet in front of the house?
Let's see, the existing driveway is 8 feet wide. So you could have
Do we want to just say an 8-foot parking pad? Would that make more sense? Yeah, then you'd have a total of 16 with this.
yeah, that would make sense.
Okay. Do we need to do anything with the curb cut? I mean,
You could either do nothing and it would default to the maximum of 16 feet, or you could explicitly state it if you felt that was more clear, like in a condition. But right, if you reject number one, by default, 16 feet is the maximum already.
so for the board, with the curb cut, I think we have two options. Basically make him go to a 16-foot curb cut, or just leave the curb cut like it is. It's already built, it got approved, and it's just the curb cut.
Yeah, my first thought is, I mean, hate it happened, but it's not his fault it didn't get approved. So we just leave it the way it is.
So we would actually give a variance to allow the curb cut as built.
Yes.
I would agree with that, because it wasn't built.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's currently 23 feet wide per the site plan.
Okay. All right, do you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, is there a way you can pull up Google Maps? Or no, Google Maps? You could do like it's down there in the left corner. Yeah, they're right there. So this is the house, right? And next door is a business. You can turn it a little bit to the right. That right there is a street light, and this is Macon Road, so it's our main street. It's a busy intersection. Cars like to cut through that right side business right there all the time. Like I said, it's a busy intersection. The wide driveway, it allows us to get in there quickly or get out quickly with easy accessibility, apart from the other accessibility things we had said. So that's all I have to say about it's a busy intersection. It's not a safe intersection. We have that pole right there. When we were getting the permit for the curb cut, the inspector, he said that that pole is not supposed to be there, and that really he would have to grandfather in the curb cut. In reality, I can't remember the distance he said, but the driveway had to be far away from that post, actually.
Sure.
So that's another reasoning.
Okay. All right. Any questions or thoughts? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Just to ask real quick again, there's no one here in opposition? Okay. So if we could get a motion to approve BOA 2026-28 as conditioned by staff.
So moved.
Okay. So we need to talk conditions, I think, on this.
Second.
Okay, sorry. We'll take that too. Do we need to vote on each variance? Would that make the most sense, Jeffrey?
I guess it depends how y'all think you're going. I guess is there anyone concerned about the metal carport? Okay, but then it sounds like, I mean, is there anyone concerned about kind of what we talked about with the reduced parking pad?
Hold on a second. He's wanting to say something else. Oh,
That metal carport. Oh,
I think we're good.
I mean, it seems like most people are probably aligning.
Yeah.
So we could probably do it all at the same.
So, but we're not going to allow, we're rejecting the drive wider than 16 feet though, because we're allowing a parking pad, correct? Do we have to reject that 16-foot drive, or is just an impossibility to have a 16-foot drive since half of it has to be in front of the house?
Well, so the driveway as exists is 23 feet. If you reject number one,
I'm
it has to
sorry.
be.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking driveway. That's really the curb cut. Is that?
Oh,
what
yeah.
number it is?
It's basically the driveway at the right of way. So
Gotcha,
they're
okay.
tied. That
Okay.
makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm with you. So we would just put, so it seems to me all we need to do is put a condition that the parking pad can't be greater than 8 feet.
Yes.
Okay. All right, is there any one that does not want to allow that, opposes that condition being added? Okay. All right, is there any discussion before we vote? All right, if you can go ahead.
Well, I was just say, can you pull up the site plan real quick, Drews? If you can zoom in on the lower one. It looks like this area is paved now, so just for clarity, the 8 feet would start here and go this direction.
Correct.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Correct.
And it sounds like we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure, so when we have to review the site plan revised.
Okay, you'll give us a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Claybrook,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Ms. Gerlach,
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Sheldon,
Yes, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
and Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, it's been approved. Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, if you can call our next case.
Item number 3, BOA 2026-29 at 3756 Macon Road.
Okay, is the applicant present for this case? And any opposition on this case?
No.
Okay. All right, if y'all have a seat down front as well. And then, if you can give us a staff report, Ms. Longstreet.
Alexis Longstreet with Shelby County DPD, presenting on case BOA 2026-0029. Property is located at 3756 Macon Road for a request to allow a front yard parking pad. Here's the location map and as well as the vicinity map. 191 notices were mailed at the very beginning of June. There were no letters of opposition or support or calls of inquiry. This property is zoned a residential single-family 6 and is surrounded by similar zoning districts as well as similar property uses. I did include the aerial. As you all can see here, this is the initial driveway. And as you can see in this photo, what you all see here, where these red vehicles are parked, there was an existing parking pad at this property from when it was developed, dating as far back as Google data would provide, 2007. And so the applicant did acquire the property with the existing parking pad. In March of last year, they did receive a code enforcement citation for adding the additional concrete as you see here. And these are the enforcement photos as well for the added portion of concrete. And it's about, give or take, 484 square feet of added concrete to what the original, I believe this would have been about like 700 square feet. So that the majority of the front yard has been paved. And here's the provided site plan as well. As you all can see here, what I have outlined here in red is the added portion, and then this is their included driveway, and as well as the existing parking pad that was already there. There is a bike lane, as you can see here as well, that is noted along this stretch of Macon Road, which is the justification that was provided by the applicant for installing the parking pad. This is the remaining grass area here. We did speak about alternatives, but they wanted to give the variance a try, so they were aware that one of their options was to remove what was added, and just going back to the original thing, and as well as potentially just simply extending their driveway further into the rear of their property. But as they mentioned, part of their reasoning was that they do use their vehicles daily, and so a lot of the people would be going in and out, having to move and things like that. This was deemed inconsistent, and I apologize, this was not included in the original staff report, but comp planning did deem this as inconsistent as it is not in keeping with the objectives of this area. So, and this also provides the conclusions in which I stated they did receive the enforcement case. This provided variance was in result of the enforcement case that they did receive. In correction, they received an enforcement case this year of 2026, and not last year, as I mentioned earlier. And that concludes my staff report.
Are there any questions for Ms. Longstreet or any of the other staff?
I do want to confirm the citation that they received was extending the already.
Yes, and so if you look inside of the staff report, they also did receive a city code enforcement citation for parking on the grass, and as a result of that, they then paved the area in which they were parking in originally. And they did say that they did know that they attempted to make contact with some individuals, not just in our office, but in other offices as well, to make sure they had permission and that to try to acquire a permit, but they were told they didn't need one. But I'm assuming they just weren't aware of the scope of work in which they wanted to actually pave their front yard.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, the applicant will come forward and give your name and address for the record.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Anarelli Moreno, and the property that we're inquiring about is 3756 Macon Road.
And is that your address as well?
Yes.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and tell us about this.
So towards the end of 2024, we had 2 incidents where 2 drunk drivers crashed on our yard. So for safety precautions, we decided to build the block fence. And we went down to the station on Walnut Grove, close to Shelby Farms. I'm not sure the name of the building, but we did inquire to get a permit for the fence. And we also had a citation by the police for parking our cars on the grass, which is not allowed. So we made sure to ask if we also needed a permit for extending some concrete, to which we were told twice that we did not need a permit. So we went ahead and poured the concrete, and year and a half passed. So fast forward to 2026 of this year in February, I saw the citation that was written by one of the inspectors saying that the parking pad in front had to be removed because we didn't have a permit for it. So that's when I called the number and reached out to Ms. Alexis, and she's been helping me with the application and everything. But I would like to say that it has been a struggle to not only get certain details for the application, but also thinking about if we were to remove part of that concrete that was already poured.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Did y'all pour the concrete, or did y'all hire a company to pour it?
So the existing parking pad that was already there, we had nothing to do with that.
Sure, yeah.
As far as,
And that one's totally fine. That's not the subject of this at all.
yeah.
Okay.
So for the poured one, I'm not completely sure because my dad handled that.
Sure.
So I can ask him if you would like.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah.
Okay. Dice que quiere saber que si tú contrataste a una compañía o si tú pusiste el concreto.
No, le pagué a un hombre que hace cemento, pero no trabaja, no tiene de trabajo. Se lo di a un hombre que hace cemento, no a compañía.
Okay. So he hired a guy that pours concrete, but not a company.
Gotcha.
How many cars do you have at the house?
So at the moment, that red truck that's there and a white truck both of them are used for my dad's remodeling company that he has. So they're work trucks. And then the Yukon that's right there is a family car. And then we also have a van, which my mom uses on the daily to pick up my sisters from school, run everyday errands. And then we have my brother's car, which is not shown in the picture, which he has to get up every morning to go to work, and then my car.
Okay, so that counts 6.
Yeah, we're a big family,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, so the Yukon is mostly used for when we go out of town. So yeah, I think you could see all 5 of them right there, the 2 trucks, and then the 3 cars, and then mine's the only one that was missing that they took the picture.
Is there room up the side of the house to, I know you'd be blocking each other, but can you go into the backyard? Does the carport go through maybe, or is it beside it?
So where you see where that last car is right there, the white one,
Yeah.
the white truck, usually the space behind that is our backyard. But my dad puts his, because there was a porch there and it fell down because of the ice storm that just occurred.
Okay.
So there's no more like space to put it back there.
How could you fit all the cars on the old parking pad? Even if you had to like block people in and move cars around, which is annoying, but
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't a way to fit all the cars without having at least two of them on the grass. And that's why we extended the parking pad so that we wouldn't have any more issues with that. But like you can see, it's the main road, so we can't park it on the street just because of the bike lane and there's reckless drivers, so yeah.
is it even legal to park on the street there?
I don't think so. It's illegal.
it almost like.
It doesn't, because there's a bike lane and then
Right.
the travel lane.
So without the bike lane, there would be, I think like further down, maybe traveling east, there are a few cars that you'll find like on Google Street View, some parked, and then in that neighborhood, when you go into the arterial roads, there are people parked on the street in areas which the bike lane aren't in.
I mean, this is just not very far from our last case.
Yeah,
They
it's
actually did have some on-street parking because they don't have a turn lane, it looks like, in the middle.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And it
they-
widened the road out. Here with that turn lane, it doesn't leave any room. The porch that you said fell, are you talking about the one in the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
the back one. We had to take it down.
Yeah. It had like a metal roof? Looks
Yeah,
like, okay.
it had a metal roof.
It's a lot of cars. It's just a lot of cars to have to deal with. Can't really think of it. Yeah. I'm just looking through the staff report a little bit at some of the pictures.
If you zoom in on either the zoning map, if you're looking, or you all can point your attention to the screen, the zoning map shows a more updated aerial that shows the current parking pad and how they configure their vehicles now.
Sorry, you're saying that even though they have the existing parking pad, there is some room to reduce?
Yeah, so they wouldn't, with all the vehicles that they have, so if you see this one here, you can see the different contrast. This is the added concrete, this is the old, and then what I'm about to pull up now is what it looked like when they were just trying to utilize the existing parking pad, and this here is grass. And so you can see where they're kind of parking in the same manner, but they're also parking halfway on the grass, halfway on the parking pad.
So if we reduced some of the poured, we're stating we still may have enough room to have the parking?
Go back to that prior picture you were just showing before this that showed the.
With the original?
Yeah, this one. So that shows
This is the original parking pad,
That's
that is the
original.
driveway.
I'm looking more right where you're pointing now. You got a truck in the back,
And then it stops.
and then it stops. But you could always, I mean, it'd be stacking cars, but you could extend that all the way back to the back lot if you wanted to.
Sorry, I do understand that, we can extend it back there. The only, inconvenience would be that, having to take out all the cars in the morning, especially when the kids go to school and, my brother goes for work, my dad goes for work, so trying to extend it backwards there, would just keep the hassle going every day.
No, I understand that. That's.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. We'll try to figure something out.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of concrete in the front of the yard, and zoning's just very particular on these parking pads. All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then, real quick, no one's here in opposition to this case, just to be sure? Okay. All right, if we could get a motion to approve BOA 2026-29 as conditioned by staff.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. What are y'all thinking?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think there's a clear hardship with Macon not providing any on-street parking for this property, none. I mean, I think that would give any household a challenge. To me, that is a clear hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Having 6 vehicles. The work trucks could be parked somewhere else. It would be down to 4 vehicles.
Ms. Longstreet, real quick, on this picture, in the site plan, in front, those cars are parked to the edge of the concrete. Is that dirt past it? Because like, that doesn't, it almost looks the same color as the concrete, but on the site plan, it doesn't, the concrete doesn't go over in front of the house.
Grass.
Just
all the way.
grass?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you see here that grass area that they're insinuating on the site plan, that is the grass. I'm not sure if it was due to the weather, but
Sure.
it is grass there. It
Gotcha.
just looks dead.
Yeah, okay.
And just to add to that, Mr. Chair, because of the fence along the frontage and that knee wall, to me, that adds a little bit of a buffer to the property, buffering some of that concrete.
So what are the thoughts on allowing it as built versus backing it up some versus not allowing it all? I know you would be allowing something based on, which is good. I'd love to hear, like, do you think just as built?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna support the case. elevation. And I think as built, I don't know what you could do aesthetically that would make a big difference, you know, and just as far as utility, I mean, you know, I live in Midtown and I have a driveway. I know the challenge of trying to, I gotta go, come let me out, right? All that, and most of the time, you can kind of, that's helped if you can park on the street, but they don't even have that,
Right.
you know, so.
I have an attempted sketch at a reduced one that would allow landscaping in the front.
Well, I was gonna, you're following my frame of thought is kind of reducing some of it and giving us some kind of green space somewhere.
I will also add and interject that the gate that they have is actually a sliding gate, so it actually slides into their property along that fence on the inside. So landscaping along the front and the inside may require them to also change their fence.
Gotcha. Which is why probably, again, I would support kind of reducing it because now we can't buffer with landscaping. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Maybe just kind of letting us. Yeah, on the.
His drawing is basically moving that. So it's like, it's 27 now. The other being 18.
No, I think he just kind of. Yeah, he did that, but that's not gonna work. She said this is a sliding fence into, so that's not gonna work. Which is why we're gonna have to. I would recommend reducing some of the concrete down. No green.
I think it'd be 9, by my math. Yeah, that's pretty deep. I mean, for how little the space is.
Can I ask staff, Ms. Longstreet, can you show something that shows the front elevation of the property?
The front, like Google Street View maybe?
Yes, ma'am. What do y'all think the height of that knee wall is? 2 feet?
Not more than 2.5 the most.
So what kind of landscaping you think would trump the wall and be visible through the wrought iron?
Those,
What do y'all think?
like some thin, like little evergreen bushes, you know, like those kind of ornamental ones that are real upright. Is that what they, yeah.
But we have to keep in mind that that's a moving fence, so it would only have to go so, because that closes inward to the wall.
But it slides.
Right, slides.
I think my suggestion, a little bit different, I mean, different this, I think I would actually allow the width in front of the house to give room back and forth, but maybe take out 5 feet of concrete between the fence and the house, and that's where the landscape buffer is. That leaves 22, 23 feet, which is tight, but even a Yukon is only 6 feet 4 inches. 76 inches is a Yukon. they don't use that much, they could park that in the back and not have to worry about that. You know, like that could be the one that doesn't get moved very often. But
You're saying up here?
no, what I would say is, I'm talking about 5 feet along Macon.
Oh, okay.
That gives room for the fence to slide east to west, but then that's where you're putting like some landscaping that'll eventually start to block that. Yeah. But I'm not as worried about it going, once I have that landscape there, I'm not as worried about it going east to west. It's just a strip that's 5 feet north of the knee wall.
Quick question to staff. Just from a maintenance perspective and what could grow in that 5 feet, can staff maybe offer comment on a cultivar that would be able to successfully grow in 5 feet?
Well, if you keep it, you should probably just keep it generic and just say like an evergreen shrub that grows at least 6 feet in height. And then in the UDC, we have several options that they can pick from.
Okay. So I would offer the condition that the southern 5 feet of concrete that lies north of the fence be removed and replaced with a landscape strip containing evergreens that grow up to 6 feet in height. Is there any objection to that or other discussion of that?
We'll make that say minimum at the end. We don't want to limit.
The height, yeah.
I mean, otherwise we have to come out, 6.5 feet. We need you to cut that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Is there any objection to that? Seeing no objection, we'll add that to the motion. Any other discussion before we vote? Okay. Mr. Secretary, if you'll give us a roll call, please.
Ms. Gerlach,
So we are voting on the modification?
The modification of just getting rid of that 5 feet along the
Right.
fence of concrete.
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Selden,
Yes, I find that the standards of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
and Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, you've been approved, so you can leave the width of it as it is, but you'll need to put in a landscaping strip where the fence goes across. Okay?
Yeah.
And 5 feet. Okay.
You just stay in contact with Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis can help you through it.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, if you'll call our next case.
Item number 4, BOA 2026-37 at 500 South White Station Road.
Okay. Applicants here. Is there any opposition here for this case?
We're conditional.
You're what?
We have a conditional comment.
Okay, all right. We'll consider you opposition at this point. Okay. All right, if we're going to get a staff report, you can go ahead and take a seat and we'll come back to you. But we're going to get a staff report from Ms. Cobbs, and then we'll go into testimony.
Good afternoon, Kendra Cobbs, Division of Planning and Development. This is a request by Michael Geffner. The location is 500 South White Station Road, and it is a request for an 8-foot wooden fence that is in the front yard. So this is considered the front yard at 500 South White Station Road. It's currently a vacant lot. There was a single-family residence at that location when the property owner, Mr. Geffner, purchased the property. The home was demolished in 2025, but this is still considered the front yard due to that house being there, and also the only frontage is on South White Station Road. On March 26, 2026, Mr. Geffner received a citation from the Zoning Enforcement Office, and it is for the placement of the fence and the height being 8 feet, whereas within the front yard, the fence cannot exceed 4 feet in height. Unless you have some decorative metal fencing like wrought iron fencing, or also the fence placement could be at least 40 feet from the right-of-way. This is located in East Memphis, and we did send out 190 public notices to the surrounding property owners. And the zoning is R10, single-family residential 10. It is surrounded by single-family residential properties. There are also planned developments that are to the west. And the site that we are looking at is marked in yellow to the left and also marked by the star to the right. So this is how the fence is in its current state. It is a very long fence. It extends the width of the lot, I believe it's 145 feet, and it's a cedar wooden fence, 8 feet in height. And this is the site plan survey showing the fence. In addition to it being on 500 South White Station Road, it does also extend a little bit to the northern and, or beyond the northern and southern property lines onto those other properties. However, we did receive property owner affidavits from those property owners. So to conclude, this is a variance request for the fence exceeding the required height that is allowed in the front yard. Per subsection 467C of the Unified Development Code, the front yard fence can be permitted 8 feet in height if it is constructed of the right materials, being decorative metal or wrought iron, or also it's set back at least 40 feet from the right-of-way from South White Station Road. For these reasons, staff does not see that there is a hardship or practical difficulty that justifies approving this ordinance. So it is recommended for rejection. However, if approved, the following conditions are recommended. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for staff? Ms. Collins, do you know how far is the fence? I didn't see where the survey didn't have how far is it from the roadway or from the right-of-way right now? It's close.
So this mark right here, this is where the fence is placed. I cannot tell. I don't think that there's actually a distance that is shown for the actual location.
Very good. All right, Mr. Geffner, do you want to give, or did I say that right?
It's Goffner, but that's all right.
I'm sorry.
I mispronounce it sometimes as well.
If you'll give your name and address for the record for us.
Sure, my name is Michael Goffner. My permanent address is 515 West Clover Drive, Memphis, Tennessee, 38120.
Okay, and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so be God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and tell us about it.
Sure. To answer your question, not that it's up there, it's 17 feet back from the roadway.
From the roadway?
From the curb.
Not from the right-of-way, though? From the curb back 17 feet.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Goffner, and I'm the owner of property located at 500 South White Station Road. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today regarding my request for variance to allow an 8-foot fence on the property. My goal today is to explain why the property presents a unique set of circumstances and why the fence has become an important part of stabilizing and securing what was previously a distressed property. When I purchased the property in 2025, it had a long history of neglect and code violations. The existing house had been deemed uninhabitable There were active squatting on the property and a non-functioning swimming pool that had become a health and safety concern. Immediately after purchase, I invested significant resources into demolishing the structure, removing the pool, cleaning the site, and improving the overall condition of the property and surrounding neighborhood. The challenge with this property is that it is not a typical residential lot. First, it's a standalone vacant parcel that fronts directly onto White Station Road, which is a main arterial roadway. Unlike most residential lots in the area, there is no occupied structure on the property. While it remains a separate legal parcel, it functions as an extension of my adjacent residence and serves as a secured backyard space for me and my family. Second, White Station Road itself has evolved significantly over time. Historically, the corridor consisted primarily of large residential lots with homes fronting directly onto the roadway. As development occurred, many of those properties became zero lot lines and infill developments. Today, much of the corridor is characterized by side yard and 8-foot perimeter fencing rather than traditional front yard conditions. As a result, this property finds itself in a unique situation where it technically falls under front yard fence regulations while functioning very differently from a traditional front yard residential lot. The fence was not installed simply for aesthetics or privacy. After the house and pool were removed, the vacant lot began attracting trespassers, illegal dumping, unauthorized gathering, and other nuisance activity like camping. The 8-foot fence has been effective in protecting the property, preserving the improvements that were made, and preventing those issues from recurring. It has also improved the appearance of the property and provided a level of security that a 4-foot fence simply would not provide. I also have provided affidavits and letters in my application from neighboring property owners who support the fence and believe it has improved the safety, appearance, and overall condition of the property and surrounding area. To my knowledge, there's been no direct opposition for the fence itself from adjacent property owners. In closing, I respectfully believe the property presents a unique combination of circumstances that are not commonly found among surrounding properties within the same zoning district. The fence has helped transform a previously distressed property into a safe, maintained, and secure asset for the neighborhood, and for those reasons, I respectfully request approval of the variance and appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, help me understand. I guess the issue for me is, you know, a 4-foot fence would keep people out. Yeah, somebody could climb a 4-foot fence. They could also climb an 8-foot fence. But just the presence of a fence, it seems like that would tell people I'm not allowed in here. Can you talk some more about why a 4-foot fence would not work? And why you need an 8-foot fence as opposed to a 4-foot fence?
I think the 4-foot fence is easier to climb over. It's also easier to dump on. We've got dumping. Basically, it's a busy road, vacant lot. Let's just dump and go. When the house was present, we were in the process of hiring the demolition crew. We had no trespassing signs all over the place. We still had squatters. We had people sleeping in the broken down pool house. So even though a 4-foot fence is a deterrent, an 8-foot fence is much more, because you're really, I mean, you could climb an 8-foot fence, but I think you're going to need something more than just your normal hand power and feet.
Okay, thank you.
And why do you want it so close to the road as opposed to?
We were actually going to set it farther back to meet that the neighboring fence line. There's an MLGW pole there and a grounding wire that's on our property, and so it was pushed back to not interfere with the MLGW pole. We wanted to actually line it up with the neighboring 8-foot fence that sits right next to it. And so in order to avoid that pole and the grounding wire, it was pushed forward a little bit.
Did you consider a wrought iron fence or a decorative fence?
Yep, we considered it. It wasn't in the budget for us. We weren't actually planning to bulldoze the house or remove the pool. So all those were added expenses of the property. And then we were actually planning to just keep it vacant. And then when neighbors were complaining about people driving up on the property to have a party while we were out of town, and then there were signs of vagrancy, so random clothing way off the road, fast food wrappers that shouldn't have been there. it became obvious that we were kind of creating a condition that was a nuisance for our neighbors. So we just wanted to secure the property for them.
I have a question. What are the long-term plans for the property? Because the variance goes with the property.
Right. Currently, the long-term plans right now is for it to be a vacant lot. It's just an extension of if you look at the satellite image, my property is behind it, and it's now just an extension of that yard.
You say vacant lot, but really you mean it's your backyard, right?
So that lot,
Right.
that's my primary residence.
I know, but I guess what I'm putting together though, it's going to be used as your backyard in its vacant status.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And that's
Which is a
currently
little different than just a vacant yard. That's a little.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
That's the current long-term plans. So for right now, as long as I'm living in that house, that's going to be green space, if you want to call it that. So that's also what's odd to me. You know, it is a front yard based on the lot, but it's two separate parcels. When this issue first came up, I came down to City Hall and said, can we join the properties? And then it'd be considered a backyard fence, and I was told no, that wasn't an option. So then I said, well, I'm gonna have to file the variance then.
Right. Yeah, we've dealt with this in some other places where they ended up expanding. We had to have them push things back because they wouldn't like put their backyard all the way kind of used to the street almost, and that didn't really work because of the other neighborhood that's their front yards. We don't know. One quick question about the 40 feet. So on his survey that Charlie did, it shows a 30-foot building line. And I guess that's per the plat that was originally done, but we're talking about the fence being 40. Why wouldn't it be the same as the building line?
One moment, please.
Okay. And then just my question earlier about how far it was from the right-of-way. Typically, the right-of-way is somewhere behind the sidewalk. Like that's like when you look at Charlie's survey, he doesn't show any concrete there. He's not showing that sidewalk because like we always think of like our properties going to the road, but they actually don't. They go somewhere behind the sidewalk. I don't know how far that is.
It'd be, I'd have to, don't quote me on it because I know I'm under oath, but when I measured it, it was 3 foot neutral ground from the curb to the sidewalk, a 3 foot sidewalk, and then 11 feet to the fence.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so if you count both properties, then he does have double frontage, but you still have to maintain both front setbacks, and then it just is going to default to the fact that it's a solid wood fence over, what was it, 4 feet tall. So then the code requires that to be set back a minimum of 40 feet.
Okay, so I always think of that, a lot of times we have a 40-foot setback, but those just happen to coincide sometimes.
Oh.
Is that
yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
that's why it's not 30, it's just, the code's just.
Yeah, it must just be either his plat or the district itself happens to be 30 feet front setback.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions?
So with the suggestion of the staff, are you opposed to putting a buffer or some type of?
No, it was actually, ma'am, it was actually part of my plan. So we put the fence up and then ran into this issue. And so then it was like, well, you don't put any landscaping up because the fence might have to be ripped out.
Right.
But that is part of our plan, was to buffer it and soften the space.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I actually live in the neighborhood, and it is a well-built fence. I mean, it's a nice-looking fence. But I thought you were putting horses or something back there. I mean, I was very curious about why it was there. So, I mean, that does kind of explain it. But it is tall.
Yeah, we built it to match the height of the fence next to it.
Right, right.
And so that was, but that's been subdivided, so that's a side yard fence, not a front yard fence. But then we also asked if we could subdivide it, but not build anything on it, and then be considered a side yard fence, and we were told no.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask staff, do you have any pictures of the frontage so that we can see the adjoining the fence that's beside this fence, to maybe see how that kind of looks? Probably not on, how long have you had the fence up there?
What was it, March 26th?
Oh, okay.
The Google Maps shows.
Or if you can't find anything, Ms. Cobb, maybe just do a Google Street View and we can at least see the fence that he's
The
referring
fence to the south is a solid brick fence on houses that face an interior private street, like a little infill. So, and it's backed up further, probably a good 20 feet or so is what it looks like.
That I don't have.
Yeah,
I'd have
but
to see.
around that,
Yeah.
It's not 3 feet further back and it's not 50 feet further back from the front. It's somewhere.
This fence right here.
Yeah, I can show it to you.
Yeah, yeah, he was saying,
And you can see.
yeah, but yeah, he was saying,
You can
some
kinda see
reason
it.
about him and GW.
On the edge of that's in the staff report, where you see where it intersects with that other fence.
Yeah, I see it.
We just checked, that brick fence is set back around 35 feet from the back of the sidewalk.
Yeah, the height is not what I have because right,
Microphone? Microphone, guys?
Yeah.
Are there any more questions for staff? We have some people that want to offer some conditions possibly. All right, so we're going to come back to you.
Okay.
If you want to have a seat, we'll have.
And I do think some neighbors sent in letters. Okay.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure that those arrive.
Yes, we did see those. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so I have Gary Rosenberg and Sammy Salke, if y'all want to come forward. Y'all can talk separately, together, however you want to do it. I just need to swear y'all in.
He's here to make sure I don't talk too long.
Okay. If
He's
you'll
got a
give your
doctor's
name-
appointment.
If you'll give your name and address for the record.
My name is Gary Rosenberg, 5194 Lexington Club Cove, Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Rosenberg.
Can we hand these out to you folks?
Sure.
I gave a copy of this to Mike as well. And the reason I made that comment before was we really are conditional. We are very appreciative of what he did by tearing down that condemned home, which did have squatters. I thought it was a meth house, but that's another story. But with that being said, Sammy and I are on the board of directors for the Lexington Homeowners Association, which has 54 units and over 80 people full-time. And as you can imagine, this is directly across the street from us, and people have an opinion. So, as I said before, our conditional request will come at the end. This was a problem site, and we also recognize what's going on in the area with crime and issues that we want him to protect his property. We want to protect our property as well. Our concern is narrower and more practical. The existing 8-foot wooden fence is highly visible from South White Station Road. And it may help to go back to Google Map and look at Sandelin Avenue. Heading east ends Sandelin, and then you run right into the fence. It is visually unavoidable in its present condition. From the Lexington community where we live in those 5 buildings, it's in direct line of sight. It's a very busy corridor, Sanderlin and White Station. It is a public streetscape on a major Memphis corridor, which we think can fit in if some changes are made. When you were looking at Google Maps before, the houses, for the most part, north and south of the property, it's all front yards facing that way. It's not any sort of backyard type of landscaping that takes place there. You saw the fence's long, uninterrupted wooden wall. And without meaningful landscaping or screening, it has a harsh visual impact, in our opinion. We're also concerned the way it is today that it's going to be subject to graffiti and deterioration and the normal elements that take place there, vandalism. We've got a lot of graffiti on Sanderlin and White Station on electric boxes. Anything that you can put a paint brush to has got graffiti. We're worried about that. We've reviewed the staff report from the Planning and Development Committee, and basically we agree with what your recommendations are. Landscaping. I think Mike, I call him Mike because I can't pronounce his last name either. I think Mike is suggesting putting landscaping there. If we would have known that, we probably would have remained quiet. And by the way, we like to get along with our neighbors. We didn't submit this complaint, by the way. But when we got the postcards, we had to show up. We also have one other issue. South White Station Road and the surrounding areas are undergoing significant changes. We don't know what's going to happen to the Racket Club. We're forced to look at that overgrown property every single day. The corner of Wheelis Avenue and South White Station Road, there's a church there that has changed hands from Carlisle to a developer. We don't know what's going to happen there. They've also changed hands with, if you live in the neighborhood, the longstanding Waddell Insurance Building. There's a parking lot that abuts our property. All of these issues are going on within 1,000 feet area of where we live. So we're concerned about today, but we're also concerned with precedents being set going down the road, what people are going to be able to do. We want to deal with this one property at a time because we are truly worried about the cumulative effect of what will happen. We've got blight issues as they exist today. We don't want them to get worse. We want to address them. So our position is neither an unconditional yes nor a simple no. If the board is inclined to allow the fence to remain, approval should be conditioned on substantial landscape screening and on formal landscape plan approved by the appropriate city staff. Specifically, we believe the fence should be softened with evergreen planting, shrubs, ornamental trees, and other landscape elements to reduce the visual impact from South White Station Road and better integrate the structure into the neighborhood. We believe that this approach respects the property owner's needs for security and privacy while preserving the appearance of an important public corridor and safeguarding the interest of neighboring property owners. I can't read my own writing. We believe this is a fair compromise. It does not require the owner to remove the fence, but it also does not leave the community with a bare 8-foot wooden wall along a major roadway. Drum roll, here's the big close. We respectfully request that if the variance is approved, the board adopts the conditional recommendations in the Memphis and Shelby County Division of Planning and Development report and expressly condition approval of substantial evergreen landscape, including trees and shrubs, and on a landscape plan reviewed and approved by the Division of the Planning Development. I believe that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Rosenberg?
No questions.
No questions.
We waited here through all that crap.
Yeah.
We, in all seriousness, we wish Mike well. What was there before was a disaster. We hope he can get his approval and pretty it up, make it good for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Salke, were you wanting to speak as well?
No, I think he's put it all
Okay,
together.
just making sure. It seemed that way, so. Okay. All right. Anybody else here in opposition? All right, Mike, if you want to come back up, do you have anything you want to add? This is your rebuttal time, too.
Nothing to rebut. I think we're all kind of on the same page. The plans were to soften that fence down and with some evergreen and landscaping, so I'll leave it up to your discretion and approval. Thank you.
Okay. Other thoughts, or hold on, we might have some questions for y'all. We may not. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I guess there's one thing the applicant may need to address. Mr. Bruce had asked him why was it not wrought iron, and the applicant's only response was the cost. In findings of fact 9.22A6 says a variance cannot be granted simply to save money.
Okay. I mean, we haven't granted it yet.
Well, I just thought the applicant may want to respond.
Yeah, do you have any other reason besides why you wouldn't want to do wrought iron besides the expense?
Besides the expense, I mean, hindsight's 2020, I guess is what I would say. We had budget for a wooden fence at the time. I mean, I don't really have a good.
I mean, I could see where somebody wouldn't want a wrought iron fence on their backyard.
I mean, I like wrought iron fence.
Yeah.
It just wasn't at the time. Okay. You know, we're just like I explained to you. Like I'm just a simple guy, just trying to do the right thing, and we didn't know all the rules and all the regulations. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So I think, unless you have any questions for staff, we need to get a motion to approve BOA 2026.0037.
So,
Second.
All right, any discussion?
I guess my reasoning or thought processes of why it wasn't wrought iron on the top was to maybe match the neighbors. They're also solid and don't have wrought iron, but that's just the way I saw the solid fence.
It just seems really, really close to White Station.
Yeah, I wish it was aligned with the other fences.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's that guide wire there, but maybe you set it back from that pole. I don't know. I mean, I wish it was aligned. I think if you got it close to that and then screened it, that it would not look. Yeah.
You know, I'm just, a couple of things I'm struggling with. A hardship that keeps you from putting up a 4-foot fence or a wrought iron fence. I don't really see a hardship. I think either one of those would work. And I'm just picturing if one of my neighbors put an 8-foot fence up across their front yard, I'm not sure that I would like that in my neighborhood. It would, to me, it seems like it would detract from the neighborhood, which I think is the reason for the code in the first place. So, you know, he can have a fence. I mean, putting a fence up is fine, but I'm trying to figure out why we would grant a variance from the code. You can put a fence up that complies with the code and accomplishes what I think he wants to accomplish without detracting from how the neighborhood looks. And I don't see a hardship reason to grant a variance.
I agree with Mr. Bruce on that. Definitely hardship has not been applied to me. And then pushing it back, like you stated, to match the other fences would help, and putting some buffers and landscaping would help, I think, bring it up to par with the standards of the neighborhood that's already set.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I drive by there all the time, and I remember when it was going, I was like, man, that fence seems close. And then the next time I drove by, I was like, man, it really is close. Like it's aggressive to the eye as you're driving by. Definitely an improvement over the camper. It was in this little circle lollipop forever that I couldn't tell if somebody was. I guess somebody lived there for a while.
The Breaking Bad meth lab. Is that
Yeah, it was rough. So you know, I think part of the neighbors' exuberance is just like when you're living next to a crap hill. The fence is well constructed. You know, I mean, like It's one of the nicer cedar fences, you know? It's just
We
so
tried to do the
close.
right thing. I mean, it's got the top cap, it's got,
Yeah.
the gates are,
I'm sorry, we can't,
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
can't talk, I'm sorry. Okay, so, me doing numbers in my head, I don't think we have the votes for a variance of where that fence is. But I think we still would need a variance if we said he could put it as close as the fence next door, the brick fence. I don't know what to do about the guy wire, that's, I don't know if it's not. There's the pole and the guy wire, I can't really affect that. But I would say that I would vote to allow the fence to be as close to White Station as the neighboring brick fence to the south, which I think still is a variance. It might have to go a little further back, I don't know. Looks like the pole's further back, but the guy wire's over, I don't know how that lines up as far as, but that's what I would do. I think that would at least look very congruent.
So is, a quick question, is the brick fence to the neighbor, is that well, how tall is that one? Is that one 8 feet as well?
I think it's 8 feet. They look like they were matched up on the picture in the staff report. Yeah, they're matched up perfectly on the staff report. The next, might be on the next page. It's on page 8.
Yeah, on page 8, it's the bottom photo, and I think Carson, or Mr. Claybrook is correct. They're like the exact same height.
So that's what I would suggest a additional condition for the condition being the fence be no closer to the street than the brick fence lying south of the property. That'd be condition 5. That would still include the need to do landscaping and stuff, but if he did it at 40 feet, he wouldn't have to do landscaping, correct? Because he wouldn't need a variance.
The code requires more than 100 feet of fencing essentially to have landscaping. And how wide is this lot? 125?
I think it was one, I think.
Yeah,
remember
I
saying
believe it's 145,
Okay, so
the
then,
length of the lot.
yes, he would still
the
be
width of the
required
lot.
to do landscaping.
Mr. Chairman, yes.
What I would offer is, if we go that direction, maybe the landscaping could match what's next door to make it align.
Or just whatever panels.
So with that, I don't really know the landscaping next door. I mean, I can see it on the map or whatever.
So it looks like just crepe myrtles next door.
Is, can you describe the landscape plat? You have a plan of the, you mentioned a type of landscaping. Could you describe that for us? Let me get that out. Okay.
So,
Okay, I
are,
see. So we-
in the
okay.
recommendations? Yeah, okay.
No, I see. I was thinking types, it was just the type of tree.
The type of
It
tree,
was just
because
the
they're
width of that.
overhead
Okay.
power lines,
Gotcha, okay.
those type of trees, they will be much shorter.
Okay. I think I'm fine with what staff said. Yeah. If he wants to do it every 20 feet, he could do that. Any other comments before we vote? Okay, Mr. Penzis, will you give us a roll call, please?
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. Claybrook,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
Ms. Skurlock,
Yes.
Vice Chair Savage Selden.
Yes, I find that the standard of the UDC of 9.22.6 are being met and will not be unduly detrimental to the properties in the vicinity.
And Chair Rainey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. Will you call our last case?
Item number 7, BOA 2026-43 at 2523 Scion Drive.
Okay, is the applicant here? I see the applicant. Is there any opposition for this case today? No? Okay. If you'll have a seat down front. And then, Ms. Neer, if you'll give us a staff report, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Nabanita Nira with DPT presenting the case BOA 2026-0043 at 2523 Cheyenne Drive. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow our front-yard parking pad. These are the location map and vicinity map. The subject property is zoned R10 and the surrounding uses are single-family residential. These are the photos of the subject property. The subject property had a non-conforming circular driveway and parking area. The applicant recently repaired the existing driveway and sidewalk. At the time, the applicant extended the driveway by filling the grass stripe between the driveway and the sidewalk and remove pine trees from the south side and extend the parking area. These are the photos from the enforcement case. The survey shows the parking pad in the front yard. According to the applicant, the request is due to insufficient parking and maneuverability on the property. The request is based on the size of the house, the damaged condition of the existing driveway and sidewalk, and the need to improve safe and functional access to the property. As I already mentioned, the circular driveway was non-conforming. The applicant could do normal maintenance and incidental repair or replacement if needed. However, extending the driveway and creating the parking pad for the whole front yard is violation of the UDC. The non-conforming circular drive also had a parking area on the south side of the property. Expanding the driveway in a way that increased the degree of existing non-conformity is prohibited by the UDC. In conclusion, the staff recommends rejection. If approved, the staff recommends the conditions on the screen. This is the end of staff's presentation.
Okay. Quick question. So, if not approved today, she would just have to remove the new concrete that's not part of the sidewalk?
Yes. Correct.
What about you said there was a little existing piece of parking that wasn't part of the circle drive? Was that legal non-conforming as well, so that would be able to stay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure I understood. Okay. Any other questions for staff? All right. If you'll come forward, please. And if you'll give your name and address for the record.
Yes, hi, my name is Momoko Imai. I'm a realtor representing this house. The house is 2523 Saigon Drive, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and share with us.
Okay, I have some... I have only 5 sets of that what I wanted to propose to the
we can share.
The vendors. This is my client purchased this home in 2016, and he has kept this property about for 10 years. And because of the nature of that trees and parking structures, it really damaged, if you can flip that. So this is the condition of the house that it was 2025. And this home has been on the market since 2024, and it's been 2 years. And I have several showings that of course, the inside, internally, Sarah has spent like total $60,000 to improve internally and externally too. This is actually because of the parking situation. Whenever the buyer comes, and this is the deal cures that we didn't have the offer. But right now, improving the parking situations, I have. Like 3 generations families that grandmother and father, children and their children that want to live in these huge properties. This house itself has 6,000 square footage, 8 rooms and various recreation rooms. So having all that said, this will improve the capacity of the parking space to accommodate the future residents here. And also, we have to remove this tree that, if you can flip that picture again, then it was that the trees that they have is very close to the sidewalk and the parking area, that the roots really extend and that lift the concrete out. And this is the other side of the house is also the same thing, that it's really damaging the foundation of the house. So we really have to improve these concerns to make the buyer satisfied. So I have, in fact, to call the zoning department, and I don't know if that's the right place or not, but I was suggested that the sidewalk city will not help us to do nothing, so we have to do our own improvement or our repairs. So as the parking is of course residential area, so that we have to do something about it. But so just before we make an improvement, only 3 or 4 cars are parkable in the Sakura Parkway. So this right now, it can be parked up to the 6 cars. So to really setting the home and granting the variance, it's going to help the community and avoid the street parking to the surrounding communities.
Okay, any questions?
So I know part of your argument was that the roots from the tree caused cracks in the driveway. The trees have been removed now, right?
Yes.
So, okay, I see that in the pictures. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
We have to remove the 3 trees, the big pine trees, and it's really cost us to take all the 3 trees out. And somehow this property, I glanced the neighbor's yard, and there are many pine trees. I think it's the nature of the Memphis area that has the trees, but not many property has same issue as ours, that their sidewalk or the front yard is very even, that they don't have these issues. So somehow we have ended up having these severe nature factors that we have to treat to make the buyer satisfied. So
I think the main issue we have is this little green space in the middle got filled in with concrete. You could have fixed all the other driveway and all those cracks without touching that. That's where the issue is for staff.
Well, it does look like it's very nice green area, but I have a picture that it's not. Well, I know I learned that parking on the glass area is not permitted in Memphis. So having that area, glass area, it will eliminate the capacity of the parking space.
Well, yeah, I mean, yards do that. But they're also supposed to be green and not concrete. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, but it has still it has the green area that remaining portion is not allowed. Well, it's, I mean.
There's not much green. There's very little green in the front. The entire front of the house is concrete. It's a pretty wide house.
But please consider the side of the house that it had 6,000 square footage, and for people to live there, they have to have the parking space because there are no attached garage to it to the house. So that's the biggest issue of the selling this property.
But there's street parking. There's just not a hardship to have all that new concrete. We can't approve something like that. Any other questions for the applicant?
And just so that I'm clear, the circular portion that she repaired, and then I think there was a small section of concrete that was repaired. We're saying that's okay, it's just the section that's where the green space was is what we're not.
Well, I think as far as we can tell, any of the new pavement that is between the sidewalk and the house, it's like the whiter pavement, is just new pavement. Everything that's the other color is the original. It doesn't appear that any of the original was behind the sidewalk that was repaired. It was just added to.
So it's not just inside the circle, there's some outside the circle too.
Yes, those two other, yeah.
Those two other sections, right?
Yeah, on the south side of the property. Right there.
But you can see from the pictures, it's all cracked. It's not able to park. It's not parkable areas. So we have to, I mean, before we made the improvement, when the buyer comes and just seeing the parking space, front yard, they said, no, who's gonna live like this? So we have to do something to it. So it doesn't show, but the back, whole left side of the parking space is really concrete. It's not, that area is not parkable. So we try to remain the sum of the concrete area. So it's really not, we extended to eliminate the grass area.
Which, I mean, you can repair the crack from these photos without adding all of this new asphalt or concrete, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it's these pictures are pretty plain as day. It's all concrete now. So what we're trying to say is that's not allowed. I mean, I understand your position of somebody didn't want to buy the house, but again, the next door neighbors have the same amount of parking, and I mean, that's part of a house. And just like Chairman Rainey said, you have street parking, you have other options. We can't dictate a driveway by how many people are going to live there, unfortunately.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much. If we could get a motion to approve BOA 2026-43 as conditioned by staff.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so as conditioned by staff means that we have to keep, it means it would be allowed. So if we don't, I just want to make sure, if we don't approve this, then she would just have to remove all that new concrete that's fairly easy to tell.
Other than the sidewalk.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's easily to tell. I mean, there needs to be grass in the middle of the circle, like it used to be.
Yeah, she would also be, even if you rejected it, required to put one street tree back.
Okay. Okay. Is there any discussion of that? Okay, I assume y'all are ready to vote. If you'll give us a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Claybrook,
No.
Mr. Bruce,
No.